Every year, thousands of people in the United Kingdom make one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives, buying property. And every year, thousands of those same people make mistakes that cost them tens of thousands of pounds, years of stress, and in some cases, their financial futures. Narrator, VO. This isn't a show about success stories. This is a guide to the dangers, the pitfalls, and the traps that the property market sets for the unwary. Whether you're a first-time buyer, a seasoned landlord, or a buy-to-let investor, the mistakes in this guide have caught out people just like you. Narrator, VO. Let's start with arguably the most common and most expensive mistake buyers make in the UK, skipping or downgrading the property survey. When you make an offer on a property and your mortgage lender sends out a valuation report, many buyers breathe a sigh of relief and assume the job is done. It isn't. A mortgage valuation is not a survey. It tells your lender whether the property is worth lending against. It tells you almost nothing about the condition of the building itself. Presenter. The difference between a Level 1 condition report, a Level 2 home buyer report, and a Level 3 full structural survey isn't just a difference in price. It's a difference in what you actually know before you hand over your life savings. A Level 2 report will flag most visible defects, but for older properties, anything pre-1980, Victorian terraces, converted flats, properties with extensions, you really should consider a Level 3 full structural survey. Yes, it costs more. In London, you might pay $800 to $1,500. Outside the capital, $600 to $1,000. But compare that to discovering post-completion that your property has Japanese knotweed in the garden, subsidence in the foundations, or a roof that needs full replacement. Those three issues alone could cost you anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 to fix. Narrator, VO. The rule is simple. The older the property and the more you're paying, the more important the survey becomes. Never let a seller's agent rush you past this step. It is your single most powerful tool for uncovering the truth about what you're buying. Me, narrator, VO. If there is one area of UK property law that catches out buyers, particularly in England and Wales, it is leasehold. And the consequences of buying a leasehold property without understanding what you're getting into can be devastating. Presenter. Here's what you need to understand. When you buy a leasehold property, which is the majority of flats in England and Wales, you don't own the land or the building outright. You own the right to live there for a fixed term, and when that term gets low, so does your property's value and mortgageability. Most lenders will not mortgage a property with fewer than 70 years remaining on its lease. Below 80 years, extending the lease becomes significantly more expensive because of something called marriage value. Narrator, VO. But it doesn't end there. Ground rent, service charges, and major works bills are the financial quicksand of leasehold ownership. Presenter. Always ask, what is the current ground rent, and does it escalate? Some older leases, particularly those sold in the 2010s by major national house builders, contained clauses that doubled the ground rent every 10 years. Properties with these clauses became almost unmortgageable overnight once lenders caught on. The government has acted to ban these clauses on new leases, but millions of existing properties still carry them. Then there's the service charge. This covers the maintenance of communal areas, the building insurance, the management company's fees. Always ask for the last 3 years of service charge accounts, look for patterns, ask whether any major works are planned, roof repairs, lift replacement, external cladding. A surprise major works bill of $20,000 to $50,000 is not uncommon and can arrive with very little warning. Narrator, VO. Before buying any leasehold property, instruct a specialist leasehold solicitor, not just a general conveyancer. The additional cost is negligible compared to the risk of getting it wrong. Narrator, VO. One of the most financially damaging mistakes a buyer can make is to budget only for the purchase price and the mortgage deposit. The additional costs of buying a property in the UK are substantial, and regularly blindside unprepared buyers. Presenter, let's run through the real cost of buying a $350,000 property in England as a first-time buyer. Your deposit, let's say 10%, is $35,000, but that is just the beginning. Stamp duty, land tax. As of 2025, first-time buyers pay no stamp duty on the first $425,000. So in this case, you're in luck. But if you're a second-time buyer or purchasing a buy-to-let, the bill is immediate and significant, potentially $8,150 to $12,500 or more on a property at this price point. And the temporary stamp duty relief introduced in 2022 expired in March 2025, resetting thresholds back to pre-relief levels. Narrator, VO. Beyond stamp duty, the list of costs adds up quickly. Presenter, solicitor and conveyancing fees, $1,500 to $3,000. Survey costs, $600 to $1,500. Mortgage arrangement fee, $999 to $1,999 depending on your lender. Mortgage broker fee, $0 if you use a fee-free broker or up to $500 to $1,000 for others. Removal costs, $500 to $2,000. Buildings and contents insurance, $200 to $500 per year due from exchange of contracts. Add it all together and you're looking at $5,000 to $12,000 in transaction costs on top of your deposit. If you haven't budgeted for this, you may find yourself unable to complete, or worse, taking on additional debt at exactly the wrong moment. Narrator, VO. Location is the oldest rule in property, but most buyers interpret this far too narrowly. It's not just about choosing a nice street, it's about understanding what that location will look like in 5, 10, and 20 years' time. Presenter, flood risk is one of the most under-researched threats in UK property. The Environment Agency's flood map is publicly available and free to use. Yet every year, buyers purchase properties in flood risk zones without understanding what that means for their insurance costs, their mortgage availability in the future, and their ability to sell. A property flooded once loses on average 10 to 20% of its value. A property flooded twice may become virtually unmortgageable. Narrator, VO. Then there is the question of infrastructure and regeneration, the opportunities as much as the dangers. Presenter, smart buyers look at planned transport links, regeneration zones, and planning permissions in the surrounding area before they buy, not after. A new transport link can add 10 to 20% to property values in a corridor. But a new development of 500 homes approved for the greenbelt next door can suppress your growth prospects and put downward pressure on resale values. Check the local authority's local plan. It's publicly available. It tells you exactly what the planning authority has designated for land use in your area over the next 15 years. Most buyers never look at it. That is a mistake. Narrator, VO. In a period of elevated interest rates, getting the mortgage wrong isn't just inconvenient. It can make the difference between financial stability and genuine hardship. Presenter. There are several layers to getting this right. First, fixed versus variable. In a rising rate environment, most borrowers benefit from certainty, a 2 or 5 year fixed rate that locks in your monthly payments. In a falling rate environment, a tracker or variable product might serve you better. Neither is universally correct. The right answer depends on your personal circumstances, your income stability, and your risk tolerance. Second, the term. Stretching your mortgage to 35 or 40 years to reduce monthly payments is increasingly common, and it significantly increases the total interest you pay over the life of the loan. On a $250,000 mortgage at 4.5%, extending from 25 years to 35 years, reduces your monthly payment by around $200, but increases total interest paid by over $40,000. That is a trade-off worth understanding before you make it. Narrator, VO. And there's a trap that catches out thousands of buyers every year, failing to lock in a new fixed rate before the current one expires. Presenter. When your fixed rate ends, you automatically roll onto your lender's standard variable rate, which is almost always significantly higher, typically 2 to 3 percentage points above what you'd pay on a new deal. Many people simply forget to act. Set a reminder 6 months before your fixed rate expires. That is the window in which you can secure a new rate without paying early repayment charges on your current deal. Don't miss it. Narrator VO. The property chain is one of the most fragile constructs in the British housing market. Understanding how to protect yourself within it and how to choose the right transaction to enter is essential. Presenter. In England and Wales, a property sale is not legally binding until contracts are exchanged. Until that moment, either party can withdraw, and there is no financial penalty for doing so. This means that weeks or months of legal work, survey costs, and emotional investment can evaporate overnight. Chain-free properties, those being sold by developers, probate sales, or sellers who have already moved out, offer the cleanest route to completion. They are worth paying a small premium for if speed and certainty matter to you. If you are in a chain, make sure your solicitor communicates proactively with every link in that chain. Delays at the bottom can collapse deals at the top. Ask your estate agent for regular chain updates, and consider whether a retention, where a sum of money is held back from completion pending the resolution of issues flagged in your survey, is appropriate. The presenter. Let's bring it all together. The UK property market rewards the prepared and punishes the impulsive. The mistakes we've covered today, skipping the survey, ignoring leasehold traps, underestimating buying costs, buying without checking the flood risk and local plan, getting the mortgage wrong, and mismanaging the chain are not exotic. They are common. They happen to smart, well-intentioned people every single week. The good news is that every one of them is avoidable with the right knowledge, the right team of advisors, and the discipline to slow down when the market, the agent, or your own excitement is pushing you to speed up. Narrator VO. Property in the UK remains one of the most reliable long-term stores of wealth for those who buy wisely. The keyword is wisely. Do your research, instruct the right professionals, ask the uncomfortable questions, and never, ever let urgency replace diligence. Their presenter, direct to camera. If this video has saved you from even one of these mistakes, it's done its job. Hit subscribe, drop your questions in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Script length, approx 2,000 words. Format, documentary style with presenter to camera sections. Tone, authoritative, educational, accessible.